Imagine 2001, great timing because just the planes had flown into the towers in New York. The market was low, IT crisis, the bubble had bursted. That was those days. And so I was declared nuts that I wanted to start a new IT company. I worked a lot in the international IT scene, and I wanted to go back to Holland. And I had experience and learned that Java was a new technology coming up on the surface of the ocean. So I thought, let's focus on that technology. Holland is a good economy, a good IT spending. So I thought, okay, let's establish a #1 company in Java. So basically, I looked around for the very best all-around enterprise Java architects, and well, I managed to find them and got the right people on board, got the right assignments for the people. So that was basically the starting moment of the company. So it was all about the extended enterprise. We were enterprise working in a network together instead of one company has a dominant position. I'm also a bit of a business and marketing guy, so business is more valuable than IT. Architects are more valuable than programmers. And it's all about integration. Then you start juggling with your words in order to find a .com address. And then one of the strengths was Extended Enterprise Business Integration Architects. And well, we looked at Xebia, and well, we had to pay $2,700 for it. And at that moment, we're not going to pay for a name. So anyhow, we looked further, but couldn't find anything else. And then at a certain moment, things came together. We looked at this specific website, and the name was available. So we looked at each other and we said, okay, push the button. And at that moment, Xebia.com was ours, and we were called Xebia. When you're strict in your hiring, then you end up with the right set of people. So at a certain moment, basically when we were 15, we said, okay, you and I, we are the kernel team. At that moment, management was already kind of forbidden word. So we thought, okay, let's call it the kernel team. I didn't want to make the mistake of having the best people in the room without being a team. So I asked somebody from outside to help us for creating a team. And I think that's the most important part of what happened in the company in the early days. That well, we were locked up with the 5 or 6 of us in a hotel. We were very honest to each other, stickies on each other's back, and well, after 2 days, we really knew about each other in every aspect, what kind of personality you are, your strengths, your sensitivities, and at the same time, we reinforced basically the common goal, to be the authority, to help others, to help companies, avoiding mistakes, and that was the foundation where the mission started. We came up in the end with authority, and of course that's not in uniforms. That is in knowledge, authority in knowledge. Because we knew everything about Java, and Java was coming up, so we want to help companies to prevent making all the kind of mistakes that we could help them to prevent. So that was our translation of, well, who we were. To be the authority, to help others, to help companies, avoiding mistakes. And that was basically the foundation where the mission started. At the same time, she asked, hey, what are your values? Families have values, but companies have values too. Well, number 1, people first. Second is share knowledge, quality, compromise, and customer intimacy. Those are the 4 values, and they all together create this infrastructure of a true knowledge workers culture. It's all about people. We are here for our people. They're not here for us. No, we are here for our people, and we have to provide all the people the best environment to learn and to become the better version of themselves, both professionally and personally. So people first. When you have a lot of knowledge, it's your obligation in the market to share it, because then, well, the market will become better, we are better persons. Well, that's something what you need to share. When you have knowledge, you have to share. So sharing knowledge was the second important value that we came up with. Compromise you always make with yourself, never with the other person. So we thought, okay, it's quality without compromise. Everything what we do it without compromise, aiming for the 9 on the scale of 10. The last one was customer intimacy, where we identified we want to have an equal level relationship with our customers. We have something to add to the customers has to add something to us, and that should be equal level. So in a personal relationship it doesn't work like this, in a business relationship it doesn't work either in this way, so it should be equal level. So that's the foundation, basically how everything started with this, this workshop, basically, this 2 days exercise where we became a team, we identified who we were, what we valued, the mission to go for, and so that's where it all started. So the business principles are, first is sense of urgency. Time is currency in a new world. We rather act in an agile way than in a process-driven way. We have a goal in mind and we go for it, and then you know what you have to do. So everything what can be done already today and now, we already do today and now. So the sense of urgency is a crucial factor for the success of the company, and that's by far the number one, in my opinion, about the success of the company. Second and third is innovation and entrepreneurship. We like new stuff. We like new technologies. We want to invest in a new areas, new mainstream technologies, new mainstream methodologies, and we give a lot of room for people to innovate by means of knowledge meetings, innovation days, all kind of hours that can be spent on innovation. Also the creation of practices, of business units, of labels, so to get people together on a certain topic. The fourth one is result. So sense of urgency, innovation, entrepreneurship, and results. Result is the balance between the values and the economy. And well, they're typically it is meant for a healthy profit margin, and that everybody knows the profit margin that we want to achieve. And we always tend to say we don't need more profit and we don't want less profit. We have a budgeted profitability model, and we rather reinvest money because their profitability level is not that high. So we rather want people to reinvest the exceeding profits that they make in the company and in the growth than in just taking and making the money. What we've learned that quite a number of customers, and certainly not all of them, but a specific group of customers really appreciate higher quality services and are prepared to pay for it. So that are the type of customers that we are looking for, and typically those kind of customers are IT savvy. They are it are almost IT companies themselves. They think in an IT way that IT will change their model and will help them in their journey, and they really appreciate the quality of the people that we have. And that's the kind of customers that we typically engage with, and so what we can bring to those customers is a high level of quality knowledge. I think now as well with the growth of the company, also the scaled delivery, because companies want to have and the specialty knowledge, but at the same time, at a certain moment, they ask for, all right, can you do this project? And we need 15 or 20 people of Xebia, and can you help us with that as well? Well, in the past, with the specialty model only, that was not possible. Now, with part of the companies that are more in scale delivery, from Poland, from India, from Vietnam for the Asia-Pacific market, for South America, for the US market, we can have both of them. So we can offer high-quality specialty knowledge on cloud, on data, software development, low-code, Microsoft technology, transformation technology or methodologies, and at the same time have scale. I think we really stick to the mission and the values and the principles. That's we keep. Well, that's my job. I see it as my job to also here to talk about it, to explain, to make sure that everybody is on the same page. That and what we tend to say is, if you, any person within the company, understand how we implement the mission and the values, you can run the company yourself. So you don't have to go to your manager and ask for approval. You don't need to process. You don't need to sign off. You don't need anything of your manager, because, well, what is then your manager adding to you? We hire you because you're a knowledgeable person in your field. So you have the mandate automatically. The only thing about mandate is you have to bend your knees and pick it up. It's on the ground. So then you have your mandate in your hand. So we only want to have people, and we want to have a structure where people have the mandate, realize they have the mandate, and take their responsibility. And I think that's a key thing. And not everywhere that's happening in that way. That because when you have people from different cultures, they find that very difficult or are not used to it. But I think that is what makes us, so to say, unique. Of course, examples always work well, so that we give examples what the mission means, what the values mean, how you implement them. So when you look at the mission, for example, which I think is the most important thing for everything and everybody, the mission is authority. But you cannot say, I'm an authority. I will not say you're an authority. So in that way, authority is a meaningless word. But you can make it tangible. And everything has been written and said already in the world. So we translate authority in 4 ways. That's first, become the number 1, maybe the number 2, I can hardly pronounce, or reframe or stay out. Jack Welch. It's very clear. Try to become the number 1. The second is your big, hairy, audacious goal. Jim Collins. Authority is something we try to achieve. You will never reach it. But it's worth fighting for it, and even sometimes I say dying for it. But then you have to fight for it and go for it. But you'll never achieve it. But that's not the issue. It's your strategic intent, and all the noses are in the same direction. It's not there. It's not there. It's there. So we try to achieve authority, and that's our biggest, audacious goal. The more practical, we do everything with a 9 in mind, not the 7, the 9. So everything on the scale of 10, we go for the 9. So that means we do it or we don't. And when we do it, okay, we go full force. And the 4th dimension is street language. Become the very best professional in your field, the best architect, the best OutSystems low-code engineer, the best agile transformation consultant, the best, you can imagine. That's one, to continue the mission towards others, what it means. And a mission is everything it's a hook on the wall, everything what fits the hook, it's always good, no questions asked. Organizing a conference, yes. Going to a conference, yes. Speaking slots, yes. Training for others, yes. So blogs, yes. So everything what is bringing authority and knowledge, basically, sharing knowledge to others, that's always, no questions asked, that's the right thing to do. Even when it is economically not always a viable situation, whatever, you still have to do it. The values, at the same time, the tangible way of how to implement the values is, for example, training budget. The training budget has to be spent. Everybody has a training budget. And instead of trying to ask for or model where people have to ask for approval to go to a training, people know very well what they would like to do for training. And some people want to go to a training for the budget, other people want to be inspired at a conference. But the main thing is that everybody has a training budget, and the budget has to be spent. Otherwise, we're jeopardizing the future. For sharing knowledge, for example, in Holland, and every country does it a little bit in a different way, but the XKEs, the Xebia Knowledge Exchange, is crucial. When you want to build up your knowledge, when you want to upskill, when you want to group knowledge together, when you want to identify new trends in the market, you have to do your knowledge management in the right way. So from, basically day 2, when we were with 7 people, we organized our knowledge sharing model. And the knowledge sharing, how it started in Holland, it's mandatory. It started every other week at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Knowledge sharing, being in the office for knowledge sharing, is more valuable than billing an extra hour to the customer. So the knowledge sharing is mandatory, starts during workday, at work time, 4 o'clock. Of course, we have food, good food. We'll continue in the afternoon and the evening. And we have a full program. It's all self-organized. These are simple, tangible aspects of how to implement the values and to keep them alive. What makes a Xebian? I think Xebian is ambitious, takes responsibility, has a high level of conceptuality. Of course, the hiring is at a certain, we want to have a minimum brain capacity, and that's of course, we are in a complex world. We do complex stuff, customers, we have a complex organization model. Yeah, you need to have a level of conceptuality to understand and oversee everything. So I think that's a capability of people that we really look for. Are you able to work in this, changing world, so to say? So we've always looked at, what do you bring to the company instead of what the company can bring to you? So I think that's also an aspect what you see back in all the Xebians, that they are specialized in something. It's not that interesting because what it exactly is, but when you're 24 and then you're very good at and a sort of authority in a certain field, I bet that when you're 27, 28, you can be an authority on something else. And you've already proven that with the passion that you have in your, in your body, in your mind, in you being as a person, you can achieve, high levels of success. So what has changed? Of course, you get other companies that join your platform, so to say, and they want to be with us. We are growing a very successful way, you could say. So the organic growth is pretty high. We just got an attractive companies to true knowledge workers. So then there's a risk of dilution of your mission, values, and principles. And it also always works when the group mission, values, principles are this, and the company is organized in a decentralized way because it's a network of nodes that all have their function and position, and they work together towards the customers. That's the structure. With the organic growth and the companies that joins our forces, and we do it jointly. We don't acquire companies. No, we give them the opportunity to join the idea, so where we want to go for, and we can talk about that a little bit later, but what's the journey, what do we want to achieve with each other? They want to join the forces. Okay, perfect. So they have a specific, a very important role themselves as well. And then you come to the mission, values, principles. Do they align? And that is, has changed is maybe more worry than actual. Because of the growth, we have grown faster than we could ever imagine. So I think that's the biggest change. That companies getting bigger, you need to have more structure. For example, now we organize the knowledge chapters in an international way. We have international management meetings. We have international get-togethers. So I think it's the international dimension that gave a big change, basically. And at the same time, we only join force with companies that are already aligned on DNA. That is how M&A works. That only is successful when there is a match on the DNA level. So that's where we're very, very, very careful and specific in. Do those companies match? And at the same time, do they have the ability and the willingness to learn from the other parts of the organization? So that's an attitude issue. And do they work in the same way? So I think that is the biggest change, and at the same time, the thing that we have to continue, put an eye on to make sure that we stay aligned on everything what makes Xebia successful. Well, the next part of the journey is, first, create a global company. We were with 1,400 people when we started 2 years ago with the journey. Now we are with some 5,500 people. So it's a pretty successful journey in looking for a size point of view. At the same time, it's more a cooperation model than that other companies have to do what another company is telling them. So it's a joint forces, a joint model. And the next step is, if you look at the numbers, when you look at the growth, look how things go. Yeah, we might end up with maybe a 10,000 people company in 2-3 years from now. being a true global IT consultancy and really have a great position. And we focus on the right customers, I think, with all the right relevant knowledge, working in a cooperative model. So the next part of the journey is, well, to creating this worldwide successful company. And yeah, I think that's an interesting journey for a lot of people. So it's crucial to become one company with one brand. That's important, because otherwise you'll not be recognized, and everybody wants to have this journey to, well, exploit their own potential. So then the message is, yeah, the sooner the better. And in what way? Do already what you can do today in order to rebrand, to when the company will join, put on the website first day, there's good news. Good news for customers, because now we can offer the customers more services from one hand. The good news to the existing people, the employees, because now we can offer them journey to go to Dubai or to go into other technologies, and so grow themselves in another dimension. And is, I think, also an important message towards candidates on the market. Hey, now this company is more interesting because it can offer more journeys to you. So I think it's all good news. I think the world has learned that you, certainly in IT, but in other industries as well, do it in an agile way. Take what you can do already today, what has value, implement it. So the longer a plan of implementation takes, the more change there will be, the more derail of the plan will be, and the more confusion, and the longer it takes. So take the principle of entrepreneurs, of agile, which is very, very similar, to, well, put a stick in the ground and say, okay, first important thing what we have to do is this, and then that, and that, instead of making a big plan. And some companies are more on the planning and process, and some other companies, do exactly what they do. And then you see that the second kind of companies go way faster. You see it in the traffic in the office. You see it in the conversation with each other, alignment with each other. So that's. So I'm a big fan of do it fast, as quick as possible, and and from an operating modus, do already today what you already can do, instead of making it step 37 in a plan that will most likely only get derailed and get suspended, and takes more time.